Kailee Poisson, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, Kailee. Friends of Arrowdale coming to us tonight in respect to item 12.4.1, which is approval of the 2021 capital budget. Kailee.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, my name is Kailee Poisson. I'm speaking today in representation of Friends of Arrowdale, a nonprofit organization that offers a collective voice of the thousands of residents in the city who support the action to save Arrowdale lands as is. In conveyance of that voice, I will be speaking in heavy opposition to both the capital budget item and the bylaws referring to the funding, pursuit, and approval of Arrowdale Park, a mere 1/3 parcel of the current 49-acre green space in the East Ward neighborhood. We do not want Arrowdale Park. We do not want 17 acres of green space at the expense of 49. This would leave Arrowdale lands as the 12th largest public green space in the city, no longer the 4th. In stage 1 of the Reimagining Arrowdale, you set out a survey asking for feedback of Arrowdale Park. And through that citywide campaign, you received a mere 462 responses. 130 of those, or 28%, were not related to the new community park development initiative. I would make the assumption that these responses indicated they were against the park idea altogether. That leaves 332 responses out of a city of over 100,000 people. And in my opinion, that's a fairly insignificant interest. Alternatively, there's a Facebook group dedicated to the land's preservation with a member count of 2,598. That's 7.8 times the respondents you received in this park idea. The Friends of Arrowdale info page engages 573 followers, and yet you pursued this park endeavor. One can only question why. The park survey results, there was a question asked of what type of green space appeals to you the most. And the number one answer was 38%, indicating rolling hills and a variety of tree cover. 23% indicated forested areas with many trees. That's 61% seemingly describing the property as it stands. The highest priorities that respondents indicated for them was walking on a quiet wooded path, appreciating nature, exercising, individual activities, walking and hiking, and a variety of plants and animal habitats. The favorite park indicated was Mohawk Park. And this would be my guess is due to the size, as well as a large part of it being unaltered green space. Alternate park suggestions within the survey, respondents indicated 11% of them wanted trails, 10% a splash pad, 7% a disc golf, 7% a playground, 3% an off-leash area, and 2% wanted skating. My question is, why are all of these minority suggestions all offered in the park design over what the majority was asking for, which was rolling hills, a variety of tree cover, and a forested area with many trees, with a priority of walking, appreciating nature, and a variety of plants and animal habitats. If that is all the majority of people are asking for, why the grand expenditure of $4 million for this park? U.S. Council raved about having this 17 acres of green space to appease those concerned about the loss of the 4th largest green space in the city boundary. Yet all of the design options, nearly half of the greenery is paved over in some way. As it sits now, it's more appealing to those voicing their environmental concerns. How can you think these opinions are so grand, these options are so grand? Tobogganing is the most renowned activity on that property and has been for decades. Yet where is the aspect given thought to in these park renditions? As I see it, these options increase public safety issues, given the locations of the trees set to be in place. You're decreasing a 49-acre space with 10 plus hill options to 1, and you choose to plant trees in the very area they would be engaging in. You know, people will try to flock and enjoy that very winter activity their parents and grandparents have. Where is the sense in this? It's leaving us all scratching our heads. Moving on to the matter of you seeking to borrow this funding for the park. This evening, from my understanding, you're seeking to fast track this park by negating the capital budget process by imposing a bylaw to borrow the full $4 million to fund and construct this park in 2021. Why the rush? The capital budget states the plan to be borrowing $2 million in 2021 to start the construction, and then another $2 million in 2024 to complete the project. Justification for the sale and development of Arrowdale into private, unaffordable, market value housing, you use the 2018 deficit of the golf course at $30,000. That is only 0.75% of the $4 million price tag of constructing this park, not accounting for the interest accruement or annual maintenance expenses. What would be the running annual deficit of this proposed 17-acre park, as it seemingly doesn't bring any return revenue options for the yearly maintenance required? What would be the yearly expense of the debt and interest owing on the borrowed amount? What is the charade going to cost the taxpayer? These are things you're not being forthright about to the public. For example, a delegate asked this question back in January 6th and has yet to receive a response. How can you see the need to fast track this process through bylaw enactment when you failed to answer the honest questions of those concerned? In response to proposed bylaw, it states the Municipal Council of the Corporation of the City of Brantford considers it necessary and expedient to undertake the Arrowdale Community Park Development Project. Why is it necessary and expedient at this very moment? We're in the middle of winter and amidst an unprecedented pandemic, which brings about nothing but uncertainty. A pandemic which has more than crippled the public's ability to effectively voice their opinions of this matter and others. Everything is digitized, and as we all know, many of those of the older demographic do not have the means or knowledge to virtually participate in these debates. How is their voice being heard? Do you even know where the demographic populace stands in this? After all, they are the majority demographic in the very neighborhood you're attempting to change. If there's such a rush for a need for a park, why is the neighborhood, in that neighborhood, why has Conklin Park that has sat essentially as a vacant piece of grass with one bench for years? It's all but 400 meters, a mere block and a half away from the proposed Arrowdale Park. Why has the priority not been to revitalize this park that already exists in the neighborhood? In doing so, you would allow both the public golf course to remain as new and as well as giving new life to an existing park. Given the extravagant design plan suggested, it would be a great neighborhood asset once again. The solution appeases the wishes of both the sides of the situation, and it certainly puts an end to the aggravating division you have caused within the city over this issue. The council and many of the past have longed for community input and decisions to not much avail, where here we have a situation we have never seen before. Thousands of citizens within the city voicing their opinion one way or another on this subject. One would think that as democracy defines, you'd listen to the majority collective. So I ask, why is that not happening? Why do you refuse to listen to the majority on this matter? It is a plain as day that not only the immediate neighborhood that this decision would be affecting is screaming at the top of their lungs that they do not wish to see this park proceed. Most definitely not at the sacrifice of a 49-acre space that caters to the community just fine. But you're hearing the voices from every corner of the city opposed to this idea, your representatives, the very ones who put you in your seat. So why are you refusing to listen? I implore you to uphold your Athenian oath and listen to the majority.
Kailee, you've hit 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. All right, so that we had 3 delegations tonight. And would you please remain standing as you're able while I read the invocation? As we come together today, we recognize the great responsibilities laid upon us. Our council will always strive to understand the needs of the people we serve and to use power wisely and well. Our purpose is to establish and maintain a city of prosperity and righteousness where freedom prevails and where justice rules. Let us also not forget those who've served our community and who are no longer with us, so that we continue to do the work that we must in their memory. Please be seated.
You're muted.